Well, MTWS fans, it's now time for the next top 10, as it is now time to cover the top 10 events of the 2014 MTWS season, the original 5th anniversary, which, my gosh, feels like yesterday it was the 5th anniversary. So, let's get into this, as the first and only one of 2 seasons that took place during an anniversary. So, here we go, top 10 events of the 2014 season, and number 10 is Toronto, September 28th, 2014, and this track was Chicago style racing, which I think might have been like one of the first times in a while I actually changed the track around in Toronto, of course. And it was, I don't think it was the first, but it was one of the first events I think to use that step up with another step up on the crossfred side of it somewhat. And oh my god, I remember that tabletop that I turned to a backflip ball to represent the pink for the 5th anniversary. Man, that tabletop was annoying to work with. Really, really irritating. But anyways, qualifying, the Monster Razor got the number 1 qualifier with a 19.79, Patriots number 2 with a 19.84, and Blood Ragers number 3 with a 19.89, so they were all very close to each other. And then racing, of course, ended up being Out Nitro, the hometown Canadian truck, going up against Blood Rage in the finals, and Nitro would get the victory and such. So then we get to freestyle, as it would start off with Supercharger, who went for the backflip in the first run and failed and only got 21. Seismic Crush came out and took the lead with a 24. Then the Monster on Wheels came out and only got a 24. And oh, it tied Seismic Crush with 24. Excuse me, because the thing's all messed up right reading this. The Monster Razor came out and got a 25. Then Patriot came out but flipped early and only got a 10. Then Hearts of Blazing came out and had a great run to get a 30. Shadowrun came out and got 23. Blood Rage came out and took the lead with a 32. Sucks I didn't write down what it did. Aquatic Beast came out but flipped early and only got 21. Eliminator came out and actually had a corkscrew backflip, but unfortunately it was after the clock expired, but it still took the lead with a 34. Then MTWS Truck came out but flipped early and only got 13. Fireball came out and struggled throughout the run and only got a 25. Shatter came out and got a 31. Thunderbolt came out and had a great run to get a 36. Impala came out and shocked the crowd with a sick run, apparently, that beat its arch rival, Thunderbolt, and took the lead with a 42, which at the time was up there as like one of the highest scores ever. And then Nitro, the hometown truck, came out going for the double down, and it fell short with a 33. Very high scoring event so far, and that's only to begin, because this event this year had a lot of high scoring events. So, number 9, Foxboro, December 21st, 2014. And this event was funny because it originally was not going to be live, but I ended up making it live. It was one of 3 events that originally weren't going to be live, but were turned live because it was just going to be easier for me to film it and then film the season finales in Philadelphia and San Diego instead of doing it that Sunday and then get to work on Philadelphia and San Diego in that week. I didn't trust myself back then in terms of end to do it. So I made it live to make it much easier for me. So anyways, Foxboro 2014 was U-turn style racing, and it was a long one too, as that track is huge on MTM2. And pretty beautiful track, although racing was kind of tough too, to line up to hit the racing lanes at the time. That was pretty tough. But the MTWS truck got the number 1 qualifier, which I believe to this day is the last time it got the number 1 qualifier, because after this event, it didn't really compete much in MTWS anymore. It only competed like in, I think, 4 events since. So yeah, I got number 1 qualifier. Blood Rage was number 2 with like 0.05 of a second off. That's how close it was. And in the finals, it would be Outlaw facing Blood Rage. How funny enough, these two would face each other in the championship 1 year later, and Blood Rage would get the win this time around. So then we get the freestyle with Supercharger starting off as it got 20. Seismic Crush came out and got a 24. Dark Beast came out and got a 23. The Monster Razor came out and got a 24. Then Crusher came out and got a 26. Then Air Rage came out and got 28. But so far, nothing says what they've done yet. Locomotion then came out tied with a 28. Monster Wheels came out and got a 25. Aquatic Beast came out but flipped early and only got a 9. Again, so far nothing really spectacular yet. Eruption came out and got a 29. Predator came out and got a 29, so now we have a tie. Stinger came out and got a 29, so we have a three-way tie now. Patriot came out but flipped early and only got a 5. Hearts of Blazing came out and took the lead with a 32. Again, I didn't write down what they did, which so far I'm kind of disappointed. Blood Rage came out but flipped early. I remember it flipped into the wall, if I remember correctly, and fell short of the double down, only got a 24. Shadowrun came out but flipped early and only got a 10. Now we're starting to pick up a little bit. Fireball came out and got a 31. Then Shatter came out but flipped on the first move it did and only got a 4. Thunderbolt came out but slammed into the wall early in bonus time, which ended its run early as it only got 36, but that was still enough for the lead. Eliminator came out and got a 31. The MTWS truck came out but flipped early and only got a 10. Nitro came out with a wild run and got a 38. Impala then came out with an incredible run because, man, Impala in 2014 was one of the best freestyle seasons ever for a truck as a tie with a 38. Last up was the defending champion, freestyle champion, Outlaw, who had an incredible run, although I didn't write down what it did, as it won freestyle with 41. Now, thankfully, this event is live, so you could see what it did, and who knows, maybe when I get around to add this event on the wiki, maybe I'll rewatch the event and type down better what happened on it, because this description, I'm not really the best at doing descriptions, but this one, even back then, was pretty bad. But still, the 9th best event of the 2014 season. Now, number 8, New Orleans, November 30th, 2014. As this was the first event in New Orleans since the 2012 season opener, which, remember, was my 2012 best event of that year. So, yeah, this was St. Louis style racing, although it was a little different. As you can see, it was on a hill, like a giant tabletop, which was a little difficult. I remember making the obstacles, and oh my goodness, it was pretty tough when I remade this track back in, what was it, 2020, 2021, or 20... Actually, it was 2022, I think, and I think this was the last track I made on MTM2 right now, over 2 years later. My goodness. I need to get back to updating them one day, because I want to finish updating all the older tracks of mine. But anyways, of course, had a boat out there, as you see, and such. Not a lot of obstacles out there for as much room as I had, but I took up most of the room making that one giant tabletop. Crazy Bull, of course, got the #1 qualifier, and it destroyed everyone else who was like second, third in a landslide, as it would make it all the way to the semifinals, where we would get Impala versus Thunderbolt, our arch rivalry matchup that we always love. And doesn't say when was the last time they faced each other, but Impala would beat Thunderbolt to win the first race since Pontiac back on October 7th, 2012, which, remember, the last video top 10 we covered, Pontiac was in that list too. And if I remember correctly, I think this was like one of the last times Impala beat Thunderbolt in racing until Foxboro 2021, like 7 years later almost. It's up there as one of the last times Impala beat Thunderbolt, because back then Thunderbolt would destroy Impala in racing regularly. Alright, so then Crazy Bull started off freestyle and got a 25. Crush and Run came out and tied with a 25. Madness came out and only got a 23. Topsy Turvy then came out and got a 25, so we have a three-way tie. Then Night Stalker came out and got 25, so already we have a four-way tie at the moment. My goodness. Then Ye Plunderer came out and got a 26 to break the four-way tie. Then someone came out, because I have Ye Plunderer for some reason twice. So it's actually Hearts Ablaze, and I don't know how I did not notice that, and no one seems to tell me that 10 years later. But Hearts Ablazing came out and took the lead with a huge score of 33. Sucks I didn't write down what it did. Then Blood Rage came out and got 29. Predator came out and tried to do a reverse or backflip. And it sounds like it might have gotten it, because it says it wasn't enough, as it got a 32. Prowler came out and got a 32. Destroyer came out and got a 29. Bling came out and got a 31. Wild Ride came out but flipped early and only got a 9. Power Forward came out and got a 30. Thunderbolt came out and it barely took the lead with a 34. Then Madness came out. No, not Madness. Mad Dog came out and got 30. Then Crazy came out with one of the best runs of the season. And it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was the next run coming up. But Crazy went off. I remember because there was a period from like late 2012, I think it was, to like early on in 2014 where Crazy was struggling in freestyle and finally started doing good again in freestyle near the end of the year. And I think this was like the point of Crazy starting to do good again. And ended up taking the lead with a 46, which, if I remember correctly, I think still remains this day, to over 10 years later, is the highest scoring run in MTWS history. And last up was Impala, who had a huge save on its very first hit in freestyle, but then it flipped afterwards and only got an 18 and allowed Crazy to win freestyle. And the reason I was talking about something during Crazy's run is because I believe Impala's run was actually filmed as a clip and posted on YouTube because it was so unique save back then. Because remember, saving MTM2 was very difficult to do. Most times when you're on two wheels, you were done. And the way it's saved definitely would have been clip worthy. But yeah, that is number 8. Now, number 7. Miami, November 9th, 2014. Another live event on this list, as this was a unique one. It was U-turn combined into St. Louis with a unique setup, as you can see right there, where the turns curve a bit instead of being straight turns and all that. That was an interesting design I did. And now think of it, maybe I should do that one day again one day. That was actually an interesting design I did. Although, the step up, the jammers being there to try and keep the trucks in their lanes, I don't think was probably the best design. Think about it all these years later. And that was a really weird bus stack that I didn't like using often because the setup and all that for boxes, oh god, that was annoying. Having that huge boat out there was really cool, at least. Alright, so then, let's get to this event. So, Destroyer got the number 1 qualifier, and Patriot was number 2, Crusher was number 3, which is surprising. Man, this event was wild. Wild, for crying out loud. Because the results were insane. I mean, a lot of the good trucks were eliminated in round 2, since they raced each other. And in the finals would be Wild Ride going up against Crusher. Wild Ride, of course, hasn't won racing in 2 years when it last did in Tokyo. And then you had Crusher, who I believe didn't win racing ever before. And the wild thing was, Wild Ride actually beat Crusher in a photo finish, but it didn't hit the ramp right. So Crusher would win racing for the first time since New York on November 6, 2011, reading according to the description. I don't actually remember it winning racing 2011. I have to look that up when I go into links and all that from the wiki. I might have to take a look at that. But yeah, Crusher won racing, and that would be the first, and that would be the last time Crusher won racing until I believe this year in Reno, almost 10 years later. Alright, so then we got the freestyle. Dark Beast came out and got 20. Crusher came out going for the double down and had an incredible run and took the lead with a 34, which, if I remember correctly, that would be its highest score until just this few weeks ago in Daytona, where it got 35. So again, another record broken 10 years later, pretty much. So yeah, Night Stalker came out and also had an incredible run in front of its hometown crowd as it got a 31. Crush and Run came out and got a 24. Madness came up and flipped early and it got a 14. Patriot came out and got a 29. Ye Plunder came out and got a 26. Flying Falcon came up with a great run to get a 32 to get second place. Predator came out and pulled off the reverse backflip. In fact, I think it got the reverse backflip twice in this run. And it got a 32. Blood Rage came out and got a 25. Destroyer came out and got a 31. Bling came out and got a 29. Wild Ride came out trying to get a revenge on Crusher and just fell short with a 33. Fireball came out and got a 32. Power 4 came out and got a 30. The MTWS truck came out and had one of the best runs in its career as it put up an insane run. I remember it got a backflip at the minimum. And of course, remember, this film's live, so we can look up highlights whenever I update the wiki and all that. And it ended up taking the lead with a 41. Then Mad Dog came up but flipped early and only got an 18. Then last up was Badass, who had probably one of its best runs ever but fell short with a 35. And this was not only MTWS's first ever freestyle win, but this would be the only win in MTWS's career. that was the only time it ever won anything here in Miami. So yeah, what an insane event it was. Very nostalgic remembering all this stuff. But we must continue off the list. So, number 6, Las Vegas, August 27th, 2014. As this was the first event in the season openers for MTWS where I had an East Coast and a West Coast season opener. I had an East Coast opener in Baltimore, which was not very good looking back for the first event in like the regular season event in 2 years. But Las Vegas, however, was insane. And this was also the first time in MTWS history where you had the season opener. Well, not the season opener. It was the first first time in MTWS history where you had an event in the regular season, and then we would come back to the same stadium later for the championship, because this was that few-year period where the championship would have fixed locations, where it would be the championship in Vegas in 2014 and 15. Of course, always in Vegas, had to be Vegas-style racing, of course, as the track was huge. And if it wasn't for the 2024 championship, if it wasn't for the 2014 championship, I would say this event might have been one of the biggest tracks of the season. It's really huge if you look at that double, which I think was the first time I've ever used that double. That double that was used in Monster Jam in 2014. Man, that track was just insane. And the backflip wall from World Finals 14, that was the first time I used it. No, it wasn't the first time I used it, but man, getting that from ROR back in 2013, that was a pain. So anyways, we get to qualifying as Outlaw back into Vegas. It would get the number 1 qualifier as it edged out Eruption, the hometown truck. Not a lot of trucks did really good in qualifying. In fact, we had our first big surprise when Nitro, because remember, Nitro here in Vegas, the first 4 events, the 2010 championship, 2011, 2012, and 2013, it was undefeated in racing. It won 16 races in a row. Absolutely insane, and it did horrible in qualifying, so that did not help out whatsoever. And then, unfortunately for Nitro, it would lose its next race as it lost to the Monster Razor in the first race of the night. And even if Nitro did win, it would have to face the defending Razor champion Outlaw, which would have been tough. But its streak ended in round 1 just like that. Like, it felt like just like how Tom Mentz in World Finals 4 when he lost his 2 titles and his undefeated 13-0 streak in racing. But racing ended with Outlaw facing the surprising Bling in the finals. And Outlaw would win. Off to a really good start for the defending racing champion. And also defending freestyle champion too coming up. Alright, so then we get to freestyle as Locomotion. In its first ever event, season I believe, competing. Came out and flipped early and only got 16. Blood Rage came out and had a great run and got a 29. Topsy Turvy came out and got a 23. Shadow Run came out and got a 23. Predator came out but Nosedive on the double. I think I remember that and only got a 13. Because remember, this event's live, but we can look it up later on. And then Hearts of Blazing came out and got a 28. Dark Beast came out and got a 24. The Monster Razor came out and got a 27. Stinger came out and also got a 27. Flying Falcon came out but flipped on the Van Stack and only got a 9. Prowler came out and had a great run to take the lead with a 30. Badass came out with an insane freestyle as it got a 36 to take the lead. That was insane. Nitro came out and started off its run by going for the backflip right off the bat, which was very risky on MTM2 back then. But it ended up flipping early and only got a 31. Blink came out and got a 31. Destroyer came out and got a 29. Crazy Bull came out and got a 24. Eruption came out, and there was a trend in 2011 to 2012 where it would win freestyle or do really good. 2013, 2014 had a streak where it was struggling. This night it struggled as it only got 25. Wild Ride came out but flipped too early and only got 17. Crazy came out and had a incredible run but only got 34. And then Outlaw, the defending freestyle champion, came out and put up one of the greatest freestyles ever, as I've written in all caps. It won freestyle with a 45, which at the time was the highest scoring run in MTWS history. Such a good description I did back then. But hey, this event was live, so maybe in the future when I update the wiki covering it, we'll actually get to see how awesome it is. But that one freestyle as Outlaw would sweep. What a great start for Outlaw in 2014, sweeping the first event it competed in. If only it kept its titles, though, when it came back here in February. Alright, So that's the first half. Now on to the next half. Number 5, Detroit, November 16th, 2014. This was an event that was originally also not supposed to be live, but the next week was going to be our debut in an international series in Arham, and then it was going to be Thanksgiving for the first time ever in Landover, so I figured it wouldn't work out for me if I did, just like how I did with Foxboro later on. So I just had live to make it easier for me to edit, as this was the first time in Detroit at Ford Field, and to celebrate the occasion, we had at the time a massive field of 24 trucks. It was probably the biggest regular season event ever at the time. Since back then, I didn't have set schedules of each event having 20 trucks or so it was like just random pretty much. Man, everyone wanted to come to this event. And it was just simple St. Louis style racing with the World Finals 14 backflip wall, a jackrabbit, and a double, and to step up in the middle. But this event was wild. Anyways, Nitro got the #1 qualifier as it obliterated everyone else. And we had, if I remember correctly, some insane racing actions. I'm trying to look at the stats right here and the bracket. We had Thunderbolt and Impala face each other, which is really cool. Impala beating Thunderbolt in its hometown too, really nice. And then our finals was a classic rivalry, Nitro and Outlaw. And Nitro would win racing against the defending racing champion. Really nice. So then we got to freestyle, as Supercharger came out first to start off and got a 21. Madness came out and got a 25. Dark Beast came out and got a 22. Topsy Turvy came out and flipped on its first hit, I believe it was, and only got a 6. Seismic Crush came out and got a 27. The Monster Razor came out and got a 27. Locomotion came out and got a 27. That's a freeway tie if I remember correctly. Air Rage came out and took the lead with a 29. Stinger came out and got a 28. Night Stalker came out but flipped early and only got a 15. Monster Wheels came out and tied Air Rage with the lead with a 29. Shadowrun came out and took the lead with a 30. Yi Plunderer came out and got a 27. Aquatic Beast came out but got stuck in between the cars. It must be a bonus obstacle because I can't think of what other cars it would get stuck on, and got a 27. Crusher came out and got a 25. Outrage came out and got a 28. Hearts of Blazing came out but flipped early and only got a 26. Fireball came out and had a great run, but broke the right front tire at their bonus time and got a 33, which was the lead. Then Eliminator came out with a massive air assault and actually blew its transmission going for the double and got the lead of 34. Then Thunderbolt came out with one of the most wild moments in MTWS history at the time. It was one of only 2 times, the other one being Outrage in Arlington 2019, where it actually broke its tire off its run. One of only 2 times where a truck ran with a broken tire. And just so you all know how I did that, I had to go on bin edit and move one of the tires to like the back of the truck. So the front tire of whatever side was broken was where the rear tire was. It was very complicated. It was very annoying, especially since I had to stop the run, film it, remember like all the time, all the stuff and all that. It was really annoying, and I don't think I'd ever want to do that again. But it was a realistic break, and I didn't think it was damaged enough to stop, so I figured I have to do that. So it was the only one of 2 times in MTWS history where a truck continued with a broken tire. Maybe one day it would be nice if we can get breakable so we can continue on with that. But after that breakage, Thunderbolt continued on and freestyle on free wheels, but it really couldn't do much on free wheels, obviously, and ended up flipping into the semi-trailer and only got a 19. Nitro came out and had an amazing run and took the lead with a 36. Crazy came out with an amazing run but flipped right before bonus time to only get a 34. Then Impala came out with an incredible run of 2014, as it had an incredible season that year, and it's from its hometown crowd, and it took the lead with a 43, blowing out into first place. And then last up was Outlaw, the defending champion, who flipped early and only got a 14. So yeah, that was a fun event. Hopefully one day I'll make this track very soon as part of the Detroit Pontiac pack. Alright, so then we get to number 4, Tampa, December 7th, 2014. as another live event, but this one was originally planned. God, just watching this video countdown, there were a lot of live events in 2014, even with the unplanned ones. My goodness. But anyways, 2014 Tampa had St. Louis style racing, which of course was very common, just like with Chicago. And that was pretty ballsy of me to have 2 step-ups out there, and one of them going right into the double. That kind of effectively almost made it into like a triple somewhat if you think about it. And I think that caused a lot of problems in freestyle. Oh man, I remember this event, filming it as... Actually, no, I think this was December... Yeah, it was December 7th. It's December 14th, actually. December 14th, because this was the week before Foxboro. So I had to film 4 events in like 3 weeks or whatever it was. Anyways, in Tampa, Flying Falcon got the #1 qualifiers. It edged out Crazy Bull by 1/100th of a second. Absolutely crazy how close it was. And there were a lot of upsets, if I remember correctly, as I'm taking a look at this really quickly. I mean, where was it at? Because I saw one upset. MTWS upset Mad Dog. Bling beating Eruption. Crush and Run getting upset by Night Stalker. Crazy Bull being outlawed in round 2. That was insane, since I remember that. And in the semifinals, the MTWS truck upset Nitro. Crazy Bull beating Shatter. So the finals was the MTWS truck versus Crazy Bull. And it was a wild race. Crazy Bull won because MTWS flipped, I think, slide out into the double or into the racing lane or something like that. I don't think it finished the race, and Crazy Bull got the win pretty convincingly. And if I remember correctly, too, I think MTWS was almost about to pull off the upset, too, until it choked. Like, hey, it's a live event, so we can watch in the future to see what happened. Alright, but anyways, Crazy Bull got the racing win. Alright, so then we got to freestyle. As, Crazy Bull started off freestyle and decided it was going to go for a double down, as it started off with a 33, which might have been up there at the time as one of the high scoring runs for the first truck out. And after that, Topsy Turvy came out and got 24. Crush and Run came out, got 24. Locomotion came out, got 25. Air Rage came out but flipped early and only got 21. Night Stalker came out, got 28. Predator came out, got 27. Aquatic Beast came out, got 29. Ye Plunder came out with 27. Flying Falcon came out and flipped early, so it only got 7. Then Eruption came out and got 27. Prowler came out with a 28. God, that was bad recapping stuff back then. Destroyer came out with a 28. Bling came out and got 29. Wild Ride came out and took the lead with a 34. Eliminator came out and it went nuts. Absolutely insane, as it took the lead with a 39. Power 4 then came out and got a 31. Badass came out but flipped early in its run and only got a 13. Mad Dog came out and had a great run but fell short with a 37. MTWS came out and actually tied Eliminator with the lead with a 39. That is insane. Shatter came out but flipped early and only got a 26. Nitro came out and went, as I said, Asugoi, and it took the lead with a 40. Good description, guys. It took the lead with a 40. And then Crazy came out but flipped early and only got a 25. Last up was defending champion Outlaw, who had a great run but flipped early and only got a 29 to allow Nitro to win. So yeah, that was Tampa. What a great event it was. And now, on to the next one. Number 3. Arham, November 23rd, 2014. My goodness, a lot of events that are near each other in terms of the dates. My gosh. As this was the week after the Detroit event. As this was MTWS's debut in the Netherlands. As it was a somewhat variation of Vegas style racing. As you can see, it's from the side. Kind of like what we did in New Orleans 2012. And that bus stack, by the way, I actually got from the Arham track that I used for this track. Really cool idea for that bus stack. As this track doesn't look like a lot compared to other events, but it was pretty intense. A lot of huge trucks were there as well. It was just a wild event. As we tried to come here in 2010 as well, just remembered it, but didn't work out. Can't wait to put that into the wiki, since I just remember that. As anyways, qualifying wrapped up with Thunderbolt getting the #1 qualifier, as it blew out everyone, including number 2, who was its arch rival Impala. How about that for the event? Alright, so then we got to racing action, as I'm trying to take a look at the racing bracket, see if there's any upsets and such. As Shatter faced Wild Ride, although Wild Ride wasn't an elite racer yet. Outlaw and Crazy Bull facing Crazy Bull won. That's pretty impressive. Blood Rage beat Crush and Run. Crazy Bull beat Shatter. Mad Dog beat Impala. And the finals was Blood Rage versus Crazy Bull, and Blood Rage would get the win. I think I remember that too. Filming that. That was wild. Oh man. That's nostalgic remembering this. Alright, so then we got the freestyle. This was a big track. This was 24 trucks just like the week before in Detroit. Alright, so here we go. Freestyle started off with Crazy Bull after just losing the finals, as it got 26. Crush and Run came out and got 23. Monster Wheels came out and got 24. The Monster Razor came out but flipped early and only got 9. Locomotion came out and took the lead with a 29. Air Raids came out and got 26. Aquatic Beast came out and got 27. Predator came out and got stuck on the step up to only get a 17. Oh yeah, I remember that now. Predator actually got stuck on the step up and it became an obstacle. Oh my gosh, I remember that now. That's nice. Destroyer came out and had a great run, and it took the lead with a 32. Hearts of Blazing came out but flipped on a backflip attempt and only got 25. Flying Falcon came out and had a sick run but fell short with a 30. Blood Rage came out and oh my god, it had an insane run, and it actually went for the Predator on the step up and knocked it down, which was insane. And then later on the run, it actually got stuck in one of the bus stacks. And it took the lead with a 33. Absolutely insane. Predator was left on the side of the track. Which, honestly, thinking back, I probably should have taken it out. Bling came out and had a great run but fell short with a 32. Wild Ride came out and got a 17 after it flipped early. Fireball came out and got a 29. Shatter came out and had an amazing run to take a lead with a 40. But we have a lot of trucks still to go. Eliminator came up but flipped early in bonus time after stuffed into the backflip container and only got 31. Badass came up but flipped too early and only got 6. Former Freestyle Champion Mad Dog came up but flipped early on the bus stack to only get an 18. The MTWS truck came out and had a sick run to take on Shatter, but it stuffed into the bus stack. I wonder if it was the same one with Blood Rage. And it fell short with a 38. Then Thunderbolt came out, had a great run but fell short with a 36. Crazy came up but flipped early and only got a 17. Impala came out with an incredible run, and it actually tied Shatter with the lead with a 40. And the last up was Outlaw, who came out but flipped early and only got 27. As Shatter and Impala won freestyle in a tie, and it was the first tie in the International Series event. So yeah, awesome event this was, despite the smaller track than I would normally expect. But we still continue on. We still got 2 more events left. Number 2, Oakland, October 26, 2014. As this was MTWS's debut in Oakland. And it was Chicago-style racing. It was a weird setup, though, where I had like a little hill as the jump instead of like cars and all that. I wanted to give that a try for once. And we did the same setup somewhat next year in the season opener in 2015. Man, look at this. The track was kind of for all the room I had. Should have done a lot better at that for our first time there. And also, if I remember correctly, I still actually, I don't know if I have it anymore, but I remember for a long time keeping the dot tracks file of this track for the backflip wall specifically, so I can copy and paste on the future tracks. I remember I had it all up to at least 2020. I think I used something else since. But for a long time, I kept this track around in my files just so I can get the backflip wall. How nostalgic just remembering that. Alright, so anyways, qualifying ended with Blood Rage getting the number 1 qualifier, as it blew out everyone apparently for that number 1 qualifying spot. And racing, looking up right now. Blood Rage faced Crush and Run in round 2, and Blood Rage won that. And don't see any insane races other than the finals, which of course was Crazy Bull beating Eruption. Oh my goodness, I just remembered something about this event. Oh boy. So anyways, we got the freestyle, and where's it at? Oh, here we go. Topsy Turvy start-off freestyle and got 25. Dark Beast came out and got 23. Crazy Bull came out going for the double down, and had a sick run with 2 backflips, because remember, back then, backflips were very difficult, and it blew into the lead with a 39. The third truck out, we had a 39 on the board. That is insane, going for the double down. Then Crush and Run came out and got a 24. Eruption had a sick run, but fell short with a 32. Shadow Run came out and had the best run of its time back then. Just think that it got a 30. Just think of Shadow Run now, its high score being a 30 10 years ago. That's how it was, how much it's evolved since. Outrage came out and got a 28. Stinger came out and got a 27. Prowler came out and got a 30. Destroyer came out with a 29. Hearts of Blazing came out and had a great run with a 33. Blaine came out and had one of its best runs ever and it got a 33. Flying Falcon came out but flipped early and only got 11. Blood Rage came out but flipped early and only got a 7. Badass came out and got a 34. And then last up was Eliminator, who had the best run of its existence, as I wrote down. I remember it. It had not 1, not 2, but 3 backflips and a gigantic cyclone too. It was an absolutely insane run as it got the win with a 40. And I believe this was the last time Eliminator won anything in MTWS. So what a wild event it was. But there's one left. What was the best event of the 2014 MTWS season? Here we go. Number 1, Mexico City, November 2nd, 2014. Exactly 1 week after Oakland. The 2 best events of the year are in consecutive weeks. And then you have Miami the next week, then you have Detroit the next week, and then Arham the next week. Like, the top 10 events you had, was that like 6 in a row? That is insane. So yeah, this was the second ever event in Mexico City, and I went all out. Although, looking at it now, I really didn't add a lot of stuff out there for such a giant track. Had the Crossthread World Finals 14 semi-trailer out there. Had another backflip wall, which was at an angle for an interesting touch, so that there was wide open area. And yeah, Chicago-style racing. As, get this thing loaded up. As Wild Ride got the number 1 qualifier, Shatter was number 2, Crazy Bull was number 3, and the Monster Razor got number 4. Alright, so then racing, you had Aquatic Beast upset an Eruption in round 1. Crazy Bull getting upset by Outrage, and Crazy Bull, fun enough, I think would win next time here, next year. And the Monster Wheels upset and Shatter. And then in round 2, nothing else spectacular. We almost had a Thunderbolt Impala matchup in the finals, but the MTWS truck cucked Impala to prevent it from making it to the finals. So it was MTWS versus Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt would get the win. Alright, so then we get to Freestyle, as it would be Topsy Turvy coming out and got a 24. Then MTWS would finally have a first insane event of the year, as they got a 37. 2 trucks in, we already have a 37 on the board. Crazy Bull came out and got a 24. Air Rage came out and got a 25. The Monster Razor came out and got a 25. Locomotion came out and got a 25. The Monster Wheels came out and got 25. 4 straight 25s. Then Outrage came out and got a 28. Aquatic Beast came out and got a 24. Prowler came out but flipped early as it got 26. Eruption came out and got 29. Wild Ride came out with 33 as it fell short. Former Freestyle Champion Thunderbolt came out going for the double down and actually took the lead with a 39. Then Shatter came out and got a 36, an insane run. Crazy Bull came out and had a sick run, and it went and got its first ever backflip as it got a 39, which tied Thunderbolt. Last up was Impala, going after its arch rival Thunderbolt, and Impala had the first ever perfect regulation outside of, like, I don't think trucks ever got a perfect 30 back in 2009 and maybe 2010 when I had 3 judges. Yeah, no one I don't think got a perfect 30, and Impala went out there and got a freaking perfect 40. And then it got 6 bonus points to get a 46, which at the time, and I still think this day, along with Crazy's win in New Orleans, which we already covered a month later. No, later on in the month. would be the highest scoring runs in MTWS history of 46. I don't think nothing's come close to that. A perfect 40 in regulation, too. And Crazy only got 39 regulation in New Orleans. But we were not done yet, as I had the Mexican-themed truck Viva La Mexico come out for an encore, which actually is on YouTube, which we could check that out maybe one day. That's like the only footage, though, of this event, as nothing was filmed. As this was the last non-filmed event for like a month straight, because I had to do that gauntlet of Miami, then the added in Detroit, then Arham, and then Landover. My goodness, I remember that week being rough. Those weeks being just rough for me. Alright guys, so that wraps up the top 10 MTWS events of 2014. And I gotta say, this season, along with 2022, were probably the best MTWS seasons ever. And I'm really saying, I think 2014 and 2022 were the best seasons. But we got a couple more still to go, as next up is going to be the last season on MTM2, 2015. So see you all next time.